Joining us now is Joe Exotic's husband, Dylan Passage. Dylan, g'day.
What's up, you guys?
Hey, I'll ask
Last time I butchered the Australian accent, so I'm not going to try that again.
No, give us a bit. Have you been working on it?
No, I mean, I have a friend from New Zealand, so that's like the closest that I can get to. Oh, no, Harry Jowsey. My bad. I'm friends with Harry, so I hear him talk quite a bit. So
yeah.
I have not practiced.
It's all about the words you learn, though. How you going is a good one to start.
What?
How you going?
Good. G'day, mate.
Yeah.
Was that all right?
Yeah, that's not bad. What about if you were to describe the weather there in Florida in an Aussie accent? What would you say?
Oh, I don't know. I can't do it. It's humid. It's bowls. I don't know.
Hey, man, just a nice, easy question to get into it. Where is Carole Baskin's dead husband?
You got to ask her. She's the only one who knows.
She's been notoriously quiet about revealing that answer.
Yeah, she has, but, she's being investigated, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. How do you feel about now the zoo has had to be handed over to Carole?
So, I mean, that was kind of like inevitable. We already knew it was going to happen. When Joe got arrested, he wasn't able to fight it anymore or like pay the court costs. So, I mean, automatically it was like defaulted towards her.
Yeah. So you expected that was always going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. So did Joe.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, last time I spoke to you, it was back in April, and because of coronavirus, you hadn't been able to see Joe. Has that changed? Have you been able to see him in prison?
No, he's still locked up in solitary confinement, so he can't have like face-to-face visits. But we only get to chat when he's talking to his lawyers.
That's still happening, the solitary?
Yeah, it's kind of bad.
Dylan, how long's that been?
Since the show dropped. Like he has been in the same place, yeah.
So he's been in solitary for what, 4 months or something now?
4 months, yeah. It's like it's cruel and unusual punishment to the max, for sure.
And so you get to speak to him on the phone?
No, so like I've only been able to speak to him maybe like 6 times since the show's dropped. It's kind of it's pretty ridiculous, but the only time I can chat with him is with the lawyers on call. They just like add me into their phone call, and that's the only way I can talk to him.
Man, do you get any idea of how he's doing then?
I get his letters, and I send him letters, but all of his stuff is kind of backed up. He only gets 20 a week, so sometimes he'll get letters from last week, or he'll get them from back in late March, early April. It's kind of up in the air. So I mean, I get all of his letters, and so now all of my letters go through the attorneys so they can send to him with like the legal paperwork and stuff. But yeah, he's not doing good. I mean, he's doing his best to stay hopeful and wishing for the best, but it's just kind of heart-wrenching for him, and kind of a really big downer, and he can't necessarily kind of grasp and stay updated with what's happening out here.
The last thing that I read about him, he said he was hoping for that Hail Mary of a Trump pardon. Do you think that's realistic?
His legal team is very positive about it, and they think they have a good platform to kind of push it forward and make it happen. But I mean, really, with all this stuff going on in the world, I have no idea. Trump may not necessarily think it's important right now or urgent to get Joe out, although like everyone else, we do feel that way. But there's just so much going on in the world and in the U.S. right now. It's just insane. So it could take some time, but it's definitely a possibility, I think.
We're hearing a lot of news, obviously, about the state of the US at the moment and the protests that are happening in the street and things like that. How is it in Florida?
In Pensacola, hasn't been so like erratic. There's been protests and stuff, but then the other day, some guy jumped on a car and was driving down the highway. Like they started blocking the roads. So people are just, people are freaking crazy, and I'll support any movements on my social media platforms, but you know, there's a lot of crazy people out there, and it's hard to get involved. You know, I'll show my support, but being right there in the front lines is probably not the best thing for anybody, really. I mean, you never know what's going to happen with the police. They could flip a switch at any second. So it's pretty insane here right now.
Hey, Dylan, how are you doing? This is a show that's basically the most popular show in the world. 64 million households is the last estimate that I heard it had been to. Is your life chaos still?
You know, it's I still get a lot of people, you know, reaching out and kind of there's a lot of positivity, but there's some hateful people, you know, they don't think Joe should be pardoned. You know, their opinions really you can feel how you want to feel. Keep it to your damn self, because I don't need to hear it. And what you say is not really going to affect me at the end of the day. I look for outcomes, not banter.
Yeah. You're still such a young man. You're 24, is that right?
24, yes, sir.
24. Man, how long, like at 24 years old, you shouldn't have a partner in jail. And how long does that keep going before you go, you know what, I got to live my life?
You know, my main goal right now is really to focus on getting Joe out of where he is and into a better place before and if he gets pardoned. And my second focus is just kind of building myself and just trying to stay positive and surrounding myself with good people. Yeah, I'm 24, and you know, nobody would expect to be married to somebody who is in prison for a murder for hire charge. And it's a lot to take in and let it sink, but it's kind of crazy to say, but at the end of the day, like you kind of get used to it. You know what I mean? Like it's been this way for 2 years for me. So it's kind of almost normal, and it's absolutely insane to hear myself say that, but that's the truth.
What was it like the first time you guys met when there were camera crews? What did you think?
I almost shat myself. Like nobody mentioned a camera crew over here, you know, like that was not the plan. But you know, it was definitely a bit overwhelming. But they were all really cool people, and they like explained, you know, what they were filming and what they were doing. And they're all like super down to earth, so it was kind of easy to like meld with them and kind of just go with whatever was happening.
It's interesting to hear, because Carol came out famously and said, this is not the show that I agreed to do. It's very different in the end than the one I agreed to do. Did they give you a fairly accurate description of what it was going to be?
They were always completely honest with me, the producers. But I mean, how could they go up to Carol and be like, we want to make a Netflix show and prove that you killed your fucking husband? You really think she would let you do that? No, she would never.
Did you know, I've ordered 10 t-shirts that say Carol Baskin killed her husband and fed him to the tigers, and they still haven't arrived. Can you do something about this, Dylan?
Where did you get them from?
From the States, from some dodgy website.
Yeah, so it was probably a knockoff, but I mean, I can't make any promises on when you're going to get that.
Have you had any weird merchandise opportunities come to you? Have people gone, hey, we want you to be the face of you?
Yes, and I'm so excited. I want people to just get high as balls off of some dill weed.
You're making dill weed?
I think, yeah, I mean, you know, that's definitely an idea I came up with for like a name for a strain. I mean, who wouldn't want to smoke some dill weed?
Have you ever thought of dildos?
Literally, okay. So you know, like the Girl Scout cookie or like cookie dough, whatever.
Yeah.
So like I was like, let's make one that's called the dildo, the DILL and then DOUGH.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't mean anything dirty, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course not.
Hey, man, is it heartbreaking when so much of your personal life is now public, and when you read, say, a letter that was out recently from Joe in prison where he said he only thinks he has 2 or 3 months to live? Is that heartbreaking to read?
Yeah, I mean, it tears me up because, you know, Joe needs to have his transfusions or he's literally not going to make it. His body is not reproducing blood cells as quickly as they're deteriorating. So all the sores he has on his body, if he doesn't get his transfusions, they're not going to heal. And then they're going to get infected. and it's just going to be even worse. And you know, it really sucks to know that he is the type of person who needs to have human contact. If he can't see them in person, he's got to be able to talk to them on the phone. And I am a big priority to Joe, and he always wants to make sure I'm okay. And so with him not being able to talk to me, I think that's really what's driving him insane. And you know, I mean, it's got to be hard. He's locked in a concrete room with no contact with anybody, and it's just really messing with his head. And you know, he feels abandoned and lost to everybody. And it's just really hard to think, you know, that he's in there suffering every day, and he's thinking that he's being punished, and we don't know what's going on because we can't really talk to the people who work at the jail. Like they like will not be in contact with anybody. The lawyers have tried, and you know, it's a bunch of BS. And you know, hopefully it all turns around pretty soon.
Is there no super fan guards that give you a bit more access?
No. So like Joe's manager, Eric Love, he actually has connections in that Fort Worth facility, and they actually allowed him to make the first phone call and connect us. And you know, that he pulled some strings to do that. I don't know what he did or how he did it, but I mean, he got it to happen. So I mean, people I guess are like, okay, yeah, that's like Joe Exotic, like this and that. But I mean, I don't really know what goes on in there completely, so I can't speak too much about any fan guards for Joe.
I did read about his health, but to be honest, I couldn't really make sense of it. He mentioned the transfusions, but he said he didn't have a COVID. He had VID or something. Do you know what the?
It's a CVID.
Right.
It's just an autoimmune disease. So his red blood cells, they deteriorate really quickly. And so without his transfusions, he just can't rebuild those antibodies and blood cells to keep him healthy.
And so, I mean, it hurts to ask this, but do you think that, I read that 2 to 3 month timeline on his life, and I thought that was an exaggeration. Is his life really quite in danger?
Yeah, his life is in danger. Mainly because, you know, when he found out he had CVID, all of his organs started shutting down. So he was in the hospital, and, you know, it all started with the ulcers on his face. And so, you know, once that starts, and it's just kind of downhill from there. And from last thing we've heard, he is starting to get the ulcers, and they're not healing. So it's very detrimental.
Well, hopefully he can get some treatment for that soon. I want to talk to you about something a bit more lighthearted. It's been announced there is going to be a mini-series. Is it weird to you that they're making a mini-series about a mini-series?
Yeah, I don't even know what they're going to do it on. Like whatever. People are crazy. They're going to make something out of something. I don't even know. But if they accomplish it, then good for them. But when I find out, I'll let you know.
Okay, great. I've heard Nicolas Cage is going to play Joe. Have you got any thoughts of who's going to play you?
I mean, I'm sticking with Zac Efron. Like, that's who I want to play me. But you know, I think it should have been David Spade who played Joe Exotic. I mean, he was the original Joe Dirt. Like, where did you go wrong with that? You know?
Yeah, Zac Efron has an incredible rig. How's your rig going?
Rig? What do you mean? My hair?
No. Your rig, your body. Because
I mean, I gained the COVID-19. All right.
Yeah, I've got a COVID blanket as well. I hate people who came out of isolation more healthy. You're like, oh.
I know, it's kind of ridiculous. But I did get my nipples pierced, so there's that. He's got to do that if he's going to be in the show and play me.
Is that the extra weight you've gained? Just 2 barbells? Damn. So it's meant to be like the most painful thing ever. Was it painful?
Not at all. So this is the second time I got them pierced. The first time, one of them got ripped out while I was bartending, and but this time when they did it, I was like biting my shirt. I was like, it's gonna hurt so bad going through scar tissue. And then she did it, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even feel it. And then the next one that got ripped out, she was like, boop, boop.
What?
You know, so just kind of went through.
What kind of bar are you working at where it can get ripped out when you're bartending?
Oh, so like, like the shaker cups, like if you're mixing shots.
Oh, yeah.
So they were stuck together, and I was working at a gay bar, so I was bartending topless. And so the cups were stuck together, so I put it against my chest and I yanked, and then the lip of the cup caught one of my bars and ripped it right in half.
Oh.
It actually did not hurt at all. Like I felt the tug, and I looked down, and I was like, my nipple's literally in half. So I grabbed my towel, put it on, grabbed some vodka, poured it on. I was like, all right, what shots did you want?
I sometimes I feel for the characters, the people in Tiger King, because I feel like you're now famous around the world, but usually if you're famous around the world, you get money to show for it, and so there is a reward. Have you been able to make some money from this?
There's things in the works. I don't really need to talk about
Yeah.
my finances, to the world, but I'm doing fine. I'm good to go.
Okay. Man, that's great. It's lovely chatting with you. You seem like such a great guy, and I just hope out of all of this, you're happy.
I do my best to stay positive. I'm just going to make the most out of every situation. It's been a little stressful these past few weeks, but things are in motion, so good things are coming.
Yeah, great. Is there any chance on the horizon where you actually get to see and get in and see Joe?
At this point, I figured it was going to be when everything started opening up again from the COVID stuff, but they still have him in isolation, so I have no idea the path that this is going to take.
Okay. Dylan, lovely to chat, mate. Good luck, and stay away from those cocktail shakers.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Cheers, brother. Bye, mate.
Bye.